Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Glad to be back here again after a nice little bye day or bye week, however you want to say it. But I think glad to be back on the field. Our guys are ready to go against the Florida Gators, which we all know is a team that never lacks talent. They're coming to Columbia, so excited about the matchup. Our guys are still in love with the process. The whole goal is to stay in love with the process, understanding 7-game stretch, one game at a time. With that being said, any questions?
Clayton, you mentioned a lot about TFLs through these first 5 games, wanting to get more of them. How do you emphasize that in practice? Did you have to change something major? Did you have to put in another drill to say this is what we've got to do to get TFLs?
Well, right now it's coming down. We missed some tackles. We lost some contain on some things that would have been second TFLs. Make sure we're making those opportunities, as Coach Robinson would say, make those layups when they get there. So we missed some of those, so we emphasize that. And obviously, making sure I'm calling the right plays at the right time when the TFLs you have a chance, and obviously passing downs and possible some short yardage stuff. And sometimes you can't get too greedy as well. That's what happened on the fourth and the 3rd and 1 that popped. We tried to make a call that a TFL call, and then went too far and we got too aggressive and it popped, and next thing you know we're chasing it. So you gotta it's all about timing and make the layups.
Clayton, you've talked a lot about improving the run and being more efficient against it through
Yep.
5 games. How do you feel like that's gone, and what's next for this group to be even better or continue to improve in that aspect?
I mean, obviously, that's one thing that we know in this league. You have to be able to stop the ball when you know they're running it. Obviously, inconsistency right now is the main thing with that. Is be more consistent. You can't have, 37 good run fits and then 4 bad ones. Next thing you know, it'll be 200 yards before you know it in this league with the backs that we face and the quarterback run game itself. Some scrambles have gotten out for extra 20-plus yards on a couple games in quarterbacks. After you watch all that stuff during the bye week, you realize that sometimes it feels really bad, but you're really not that far off from being solid and being consistent. I think that's the main thing, and just really pointing out, the mistakes that we're making. Sometimes to make sure we have a good edge, make sure we have our gap secure, make sure we're in our gap when don't get blocked by the close receiver. Little things like that you got to teach the guys, and I mean it's a lot of teaching going on, especially with the youth that we have on defense, but just and offenses are smart. They find the young players and they try to put them in conflict situations. And guys are still making plays, but a simple alignment by a receiver can put a young guy in a conflict on what to do. But those are the things that we've been teaching, just making sure that we're seeing those little details that's going to help. Instead of an 8-yard run, that's a 2-yard run, and if that happens 4 times, you've already saved 20 yards off the day.
You just used the word details there. Shane talked about that a lot going into the buy-in yesterday. In your mind, what does detailed-oriented football look like, and how do you kind of go about getting that better during a bye week?
Detail-oriented football is an example of, you're a free safety to the boundary and the tight end's on the ball, and you have him man. You have to look out there and see if the receiver is 2 yards inside the numbers or 1 yard inside the numbers. That's a big difference. If he's 1 yard inside the numbers, he's probably blocking the corner. If he's 2 yards, he's probably blocking you. So that means your alignment can't be at 8, you got to be at 4. That's a detailed thing. Another one would be a defensive end. If you're the defensive end away from the back and the back is 2 yards behind the quarterback, he's probably running inside. So you could tighten up and play the tackle. If he's up closer, it could be a pass or it could be an outside run. So just an alert, things like that. So I can go on and on and on. You want more? But that's what I mean. It's definitely not big picture stuff. It's very, very, very detailed.
Going off with just the technique, you're talking about a lot of the pre-snap stuff. When we talk about the explosive plays, I know it's real easy just to look at the secondary, but obviously I'm sure as you would tell people, it starts with everyone up front making sure they're doing their assignments too. When you've gone back and reevaluated that during the bye week, trying to limit the explosive plays, how much of that is, whether it be, technique and just being able to clean certain things up? Like how would you, kind of talk about what you've been able to notice over the last couple of weeks by taking a step back?
A lot of times, if you can just keep coaching the heck out of it, you know what I mean, and they eventually get it. Sometimes it's over a long period of time for certain kids. Every kid is different, but you have to keep coaching the heck out of it, and you got to find a way to coach it to the point to where it clicks, and you can look in their eyes and tell when it clicks, and then you got to drill it. You got to drill it. You got to drill it. And the big plays that we've given up, sometimes it's a competitive catch or a guy breaks a tackle and breaks for 25. But half of those, we really feel like that if we'd have made a better step here, a better read here, got our leverage and kept our leverage here, that's a 4-yard gain versus a 17-yard run. And so a lot of it's fixable. A lot of it has to get fixed, and it starts with us as coaches just continue and believe in the process and not giving up and staying in the fight and understanding that, it's hard out there for those guys. And so we got to just keep putting them in situations to improve.
When you've gone back to reevaluate things over the bye week, what are a couple of things that you've been most pleased with amongst the group as a whole?
To me, it's like just when you're watching it, the good thing, the good and the bad thing about bye weeks, you look at the stuff that's good. It's not all, you don't look at all the stuff that's bad. You know what I mean? So when you see the things that are good, and that makes you feel really good. Like, I mean, there's obviously been a couple games where we've been good against the run against good teams, and you put that tape on, you're like, look, we can do it. We can, obviously then you find a play where it didn't work. So you got to kind of have a happy balance as a coach. But to me, I think the effort's been there with the guys that want to, playing tough, no give up. You put on the first half of a couple games, you're like, dang, it's a totally different looking team, just the way we're attacking, the way we're playing. And then you turn on another game like we're a step behind. So you got to do a great job as the coach and just, coaching them and make sure they understand what's going on. Every team is different, every coach is different, and every player is different. But that's why we're here. We're here for a reason to keep developing young men, and this is part of the process, and you got to stay in love with it, not just fall in love.
And with TJ Sanders has stepped into the starting lineup a little bit the last couple of weeks, just what kind of jump has he made from last year, and what do y'all like about mixing him with, Boogie, especially there?
Obviously, we love Tonka, we love Boogie, we love TJ as well. And TJ had a monster game against Georgia, so we had to, he had to go out there first. He earned that right. And I do love having all three of those guys. I wish they all three can play. They can actually, but we're trying to keep developing depth and keeping our guys healthy and fresh is the main thing up front. As the other guys are coming along, as we get down this narrow road of the SEC, it gets tougher and more narrow as you get closer to November. So we're trying to keep our guys fresh and ready. But we love having TJ. TJ's been a very active player since the day he got here. Most coaches have favorite guys. He's definitely high on the list. He loved putting apples on my desk and making sure that I'm, happy about his play and stuff. So, he put a green apple on my desk yesterday. I like red apples.
Is that a point off for TJ then, in terms of?
Nah, it's all good. He didn't really do it, but somebody put an apple on my desk yesterday. I don't know what's going on right here.
And Clayton, with Elijah Davis has played a lot more at the end position the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Just what was the decision to do that, and kind of how would you evaluate the edge / in position as setting the edge or getting after the pass?
In the SEC, most offensive linemen are 325 and above, so that starts there, and then he's a little bit more. You'll see more of him, more of his athleticism when he's on the edge, and we just feel like he's more happy there. He get to take the knee braces off at practice, and you just notice him more there. He played some big end for us in the Georgia game, and so we kind of just move him there permanently to make us better. But what I see from him is a guy who understands football, really good football awareness and IQ, and kind of a natural football player. I mean, his high school tape is one of my favorites still when I first saw it.
Obviously, Florida's a little different at quarterback now, and does that change anything with what they're able to do as far as their scheme, their run game, or how is that? Have you seen any changes that way from?
No, their run game is obviously they're different at quarterback, but the guy they have in Mertz is a talented, experienced quarterback who's been around the block. I think their offensive scheme is one of the, every offense is different. I think they have a very, very complex, not complex, but a very hard offensive scheme to defend, and just because of the things they do and how they do it, and they make it hard on defenses in regards of checks and flows and motions and adjustments. So you got to be on point, and good football coaches with good football players. I mean, that's what you expect to see.
Sticking with Florida, it's kind of the opposite of Tennessee. They lead the SEC in time possession right now. Does that change how you have to kind of scheme it all, or the way you have to go about your rotations when there's long possessions maybe coming?
It does not change the way you scheme. You just have to, obviously keep our guys locked in on situational football. 3rd and 5. Be ready for, if they run it, they probably stand on the field trying to go for it on 4th down. Just alert our guys of those situations. Make sure we're playing smart football and understanding the clock and just the overall game itself. Let's not get caught up in the stuff outside of the situational stuff. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. See you next time.